Turning the volume down.
Hey, beautiful people. I am waiting for Tawnie to come in and we will get started. And if you remember from last week, we are continuing our topics about the frustrations of stroke survivors to come in and we will get started. But since today is part 2, our topic today, and I'm reading it so I won't forget. And if you remember from last week, we are continuing our topics about the frustrations of stroke survivors as well as our caretakers. But since today is part 2, our topic today, and I'm reading it so I won't forget, our topic today is the unknown. Hello, darling.
Hello. Thank you for going over the topic and giving us a part 2.
Yeah, so our part 2, I wanted to wait till we got it together. So our part 2, everyone. So if you did not catch last week's podcast, we'll make sure we add the link to show you so you can catch it. It was a great topic for last week, speaking about the frustrations of the stroke survivor as well as the caretakers. We so often forget, hey, they are a big part of our recovery. They are almost one of the biggest parts of our recovery, especially for those that live alone or more on the independent side. Hello. When you lose function to one side of your body, that is brain function, mental, physical, all of the above that we lose. And our caretakers, our loved ones, our family, friends, whoever that may be, they're there for us and they become this grand part of our life. And they really don't know how to help us. So this is why we're going to spend the next couple of weeks speaking about that. So with part 2 being said, again, I said the topic for today is called the unknown. And I wanted to delve in a little deeper by giving you the definition that I looked up for the unknown, the Webster's definition, as a matter of fact. It's not known, not within the range of one's knowledge, experience, or understanding. The strange or the unfamiliar. So out of that, I'm going to pick the word knowledge, which knowledge is defined as information and skills acquired by a person through experience or education. The reason I wanted to pick that, if you really think about that, and I'm going to repeat that for you, knowledge is information and skills acquired by a person through experience or education. Theoretically, let me tell you what happens to a stroke survivor. We have a brain disconnect. And understanding when a brain disconnects, knowledge and information we lack. So when you're looking at the word, the unknown is the range of one's knowledge. So the unknown to a stroke survivor, we have lost information. We have lost all function. We have lost the natural ability that a human should acquire on a regular basis on one side of our body. So when you really go back into the unknown, it's funny because the stroke survivor is unknown. It's everything. Even more funny because this situation with the stroke survivor is unknown to the caretakers. It's an unknown lifestyle that we're now both living and both having to acquire the unknown. So let's talk about this unknown venture that we are now about to take on life with. Learning how to cope with the unknown, dealing with the frustrations, dealing with the what's to come, how should we move forward with all of these unknowns? So I just wanted to paint that picture for you before we delve into, and I'm throwing the ball now to Tawnie.
So, wow. I mean, being a stroke survivor, everything is the unknown. In a way, I used to, and I still find myself being in situations like, I know since I don't have the physical deficits, a lot of times people think you can just do everything. It's also in a weird way, I go, it feels just like random things are missing. Okay. Because I did bleed in my brain for a week. So the blood hit certain parts, and we don't know unless I try. So I was with people, and there was a situation where there was a bicycle, and it was like, Tawnie, do you think you can ride a bike? And I was like, I don't know. Like, honest to God truth, I don't know if I can. I don't know if, like they say, it's just like a bicycle, go back on it. And that's something my caretakers, sometimes you tell them, ask me if I could do something. And sometimes they literally ask you, and you're like, I don't know, but I'm gonna try and I'm gonna see. And so I've learned by saying like I'm going to try things and giving myself, but it wasn't easy in the beginning. I will tell you a lot. I don't know how many of you guys can relate to this, but I seem to be extra critical of myself in the beginning. So when things did not come easily or like it used to, I would get frustrated and think like, oh, a stroke took this from me. I can't do this. Whereas now I go, that's different. Let's see how I can do it now. So I attack everything, and in a way, I feel like I've come to enjoy the try to enjoy the unknown. Try and teach it like an adventure and a game instead of being like, because somebody said, isn't that scary that everything's the unknown? I go, it's like a baby. It is. It is scary. Or you can look at it as like, I get a second chance at life to look at things again differently. Has been a
It's a
little
beautiful thing. So that is a beautiful thing when you look at everything of how Tawnie has learned to embrace the unknown. Myself, I have learned to embrace the unknown because of my great faith that I have. Faith is unknown. Faith is believing without seeing. Faith is really not understanding, but understanding based off the type of faith that you've learned and you've grasped in your living. So the unknown to me became I would say a light bulb or an avenue for me to grasp too, because again, because of my faith. So I'm thankful because of that, because of the faith that I've been able to have grace with the unknown of what tomorrow is going to bring, what the next day is going to bring. Because again, I'm always going to go back. God has given me a breath of life. I am alive. So the doctor, when they tell you, hey, you may not walk again, you may not get out of that wheelchair, you may not be able to speak, walk your dogs, or do anything, all of the above. In reality, that's textbook knowledge, but in retrospect, that's the unknown, because their textbook knowledge that they have grabbed from their education has only taught them this because of statistics. And now we have subjects, as myself and Tawnie, that are living a lifestyle surpassing what textbook knowledge is teaching and educating our medical practitioners. So when they're speaking, they believe it to be some sort of facts based off of the knowledge that they have as far as their knowledge and education may go. But in reality, it's an unknown statement because, again, they have delved in, they've dealt with statistics, they've dealt with reality of unreality of this person and how people react in a situation as having a stroke. But we are a community. I'm gonna try to think of a word of eccentric individuals, unique individuals. We are a community of unique individuals. So that community is still exploring with life today. So taking the fact from a medical practitioner saying, hey, today I can tell you this is what's happening, but studies back then is what the reality you may be facing. That can leave us going two paths. That can leave us with, hey, there's a light on one end, or you can walk in the dark shadow, because of the simple fact that it depends on how you proceed, how you take it and go with that. You take it as, hey, he's giving me some knowledge based off of the information he has. So am I going to take this and say, hey, this is the all too, or I'm going to take this and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to take it and I'm going to surpass it with my mental capacity to say, hey, I want more in life. And it really goes back to the reality of how we grasp life today in our everyday being, how we go about life. And I can look at it as the optimistic or the non-optimistic person. As myself, I always like to say I'm the optimist. I am the glass half full versus glass half empty. So again, and I'm saying all this, and I'm really trying to paint this picture. So because everybody's mind is different. So everybody's mind when it comes to, hey, what's next? How should I approach this? How should I approach that? It goes back to the unknown, the unfamiliar, as we don't know what's to come. But in order for us to be able to say, with all of this being said, in order for us to say, hey, we can smile at the end of the day, is say, hey, listen, I have a breath of life. Today is unknown. I remember the first day of my stroke was unknown, but we can look at today to say, hey, I surpassed that. I'm not there anymore. Hello. So the unknown today is going to be better 6 days from now, 30 days from now. So we have to really grasp everything. And this is on the stroke survivors level of how to grace and how to brace with living forward and living in our future life of what's to come and what's ahead of us.
Yeah, I love it. I think I swallowed the dark light. So I want to touch on that a little bit. And that's where I love Tracey said, I can look back and see that it's gotten so much better. And so I know early in your recovery, you may think, I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I hope this shines a light that with time and energy, you can. And to look at it as you're alive, we got a second chance. We should not be here. We know the odds. So if you're here as a survivor, like give yourself a pat on the back, okay? And looking, I heard this phrase, like how when you get acclimated to the dark, just because you've adjusted to it doesn't mean you need to settle for it. So just because you've been used to it being that way, you can like how I mean, all the doctors exactly living out of spite. When I kept asking if my eye is going to cross back, if things are going to be, and the doctors just keep telling you, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. You can sit there and get really frustrated at it, which you do, and I'm still telling you to feel those feelings, but you can start to see the beauty in the unknown. That means they don't know. They can't tell me a hell no, because an I don't know still gives hope. I would rather get an I don't know than them telling me, nope, that's it. And also, I look back at, I think a lot of us survivors who love, he said, out of spite, and maybe you don't like the word spite, but that's why I say it's a challenge. I don't like to say anymore, I feel bad, I feel sick. I'm like, I don't feel great right now, or times are challenging, but I'm going to get through it because I have a 100% success rate. Every single one of us on here, your hardest day, your darkest day, you took a deep breath, and guess what? You did get through it. Maybe not how you wanted to, but you got through it. And so, just having a community, having people like Tracey who's there smiling, encouraging. Lynn, there's so many. So when you are feeling that way, that's when your caretakers, you need to say, hey, I need some extra support right now. I need to whatever you think, and sometimes even say, I don't know what I need, but like sometimes I go, I'm in the I don't know. I'm not sad, I'm not mad, I'm just like I don't know what's going on in the bodies.
That's beautiful. So I wanted to take the word, I know Senior's Foot was playing, but I wanted to take the word out of spite, but I like to use the word spite. So a few times I would make a statement as teaching you to love and live life in spite of. So that in spite is a beautiful thing, because listen, in spite of our invisible or visible disabilities, in spite of the fact that we are stroke survivors, in spite of we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, in spite of, hey, we may run into something tomorrow that we didn't think about. So in spite of all of these things, today, or this moment that we have now, we want to teach you to how to embrace the best, how to live your best in spite of. Yes, you may not be where you want to be at this very moment, But in spite of that thought, in spite of that current situation, we still have breath. We still can change it based on our mind frame, based on our thought process. So again, that in spite actually takes me back to the unknown. In spite of everything we're going, in spite of the unknown that we may experience in the next 5 minutes, tomorrow, the next 5 days. So again, let me, and I almost forgot, let's go back. So these are all words of a stroke survivor. Now let's look at on the end of our caretakers. Listen, honey, the unknown to caretakers, the unknown, listen, I'm always going to say thank you so much. The unknown, as much as we are stressing, they are stressing. The unknown, they don't know how you're going to react in the next minute. As we spoke about last week, and so many times we get on here, the emotional roller coaster that we have no control over, the emotional roller coaster that our caretakers are going through. Listen, they didn't have this brain disconnect, but because of our emotional discombobulation we got going on over here, honey, they are going through just as we are going through it. They are going through the emotions of wanting to know how to love for you more, wanting to know how to care for you. They might get this person that is nonverbal. They might get this person that has no type of movement. So they don't really know, like, hey, is what I'm doing offending them, affecting them in a positive way, affecting them in a negative way, or are they even receiving anything that I'm doing? Again, because all of these things are unknown to them. When you're dealing with so many different, as we said, eccentric, is that the word? Unique characteristics of a stroke survivor. Everyone is going to be different. Not one of us is going to be the same. So again, with those unknown factors of the stroke survivors, we're trying to the caretakers, we're trying to walk you through, because every day is unknown for us. But how we grasp each day with the abilities that, hey, we can make a change with your help, with your patience and patience. And I'm going to throw this out there. Next week's topic is going to be about patience, because honey, so with the patience of our caretakers, we're asking you for patience even today with us, the ones you may see, myself or Tawnie, as the things we do. And I'm going to say over here, as even if you've noticed over the past few months of just us trying to change the way we speak, having patience with that, as to say, hey, we are two fast talking females that have had a brain disconnect. And to us, it's normal, but to you, it's not normal. So the patience of understanding that we were working through it and coping through, and understanding that it took patience to have patience with ourselves, as to say, hey, I appreciate our loved ones and our caretakers acknowledging that and making it and bringing that to the forefront of our face to say, hey, I understand you're dealing with some things, but I want you to try to acknowledge that we're trying to look at it on both retrospects of the scale. And I can say, from the retrospect of a stroke survivor, not many of us can talk as fast as myself and Tawnie. Not many of us can understand and comprehend possibly as fast as myself and Tawnie. So when we're talking, which is our normal language, that could be a frustration to the stroke survivor, a frustration to the caretaker, a frustration to, again, anyone that's trying to comprehend. Because again, with all of our unique capabilities, we don't know how it's affecting one another. So it takes me back to the patience, thank you, and the unknown of how it had affected so many people. But with the greatness of my loved ones, Tawnie's loved ones, and all of the above, saying, hey, try to work on that. Try to work on taking a breath. Try to work on completing sentences and breathing. So all of these things are beautiful. As in the beginning, it was so hard for me to see it. I'm like, I'm talking normal. And I am breathing. And I am trying to grasp what you're saying. Honey, I'm year 5 and I'm just now getting it. So let me tell you, so when I say patience, next week. We gotta slew up everything for patience for y'all. So thank you for that. Thank you for understanding, because again, it's the unknown of how I'm going to grasp it, and the unknown of when my brain was finally going to click in and say, yo, take a breath, slow down. So, and now I'm slowing down and passing the mic back to Tawnie.
Well, the slowing down, yes, I see. I'd even like to throw a level in. It's also a little bit of a trauma response. I couldn't talk fast. I stumbled on my words. I had difficulties. So it's like once I got the ability to talk fast, I was like, I'm never slowing down again. Now I understand it's that I don't want to frustrate other people by talking so fast that it just they don't hear it. So I agree with the patience of your loved ones to continue to say, hey, this is why it would help. And patience with caretakers. I know Lynn said, I don't have a caretaker except for my psychotherapist. Caretaker to me, and I'm sure to Tracey, what we're trying to mean is your caretaker is my husband. My mom is also a caretaker. She was there through my brain surgeries, my dad, my brother, anybody. I even say those of you guys who follow me, because in a way, you notice things. You were starting to say, hey, Tawnie, you keep complaining about your equilibrium a lot. Maybe you should go get that checked. So I find caretaker is anyone who cares about you. They may not physically be there day to day doing physical therapy with you to be a caretaker. And I think a lot of them more time so that they should get support too. My mom never went to support groups. I've still been trying to tell her, like, I just think it would be good, even if you don't want to share, you just want to listen, because hearing that other people feel the same way and also be able to vent. I know you love me, but I know that I can be difficult. And guess what? You need a safe place where you can vent that and not feel bad, because the only people you can vent to is your mom, which is my grandma, or my dad. And so I'm sure there's a little bit of guilt, like I feel, and because I can hear that in her. And so I think opening it up to giving yourself patience to want to connect to others and know that, like, hey, or also be like, I don't want to talk about it. I want to talk about anything but that because it already consumes all of my life. I want something that's a hobby for me. And so that's what I think is important to talk about with caretakers, is it's a bigger, I think, umbrella term than what, professional caretakers.
Yes, absolutely. I wanted to see, I'm gonna go back. I do apologize, seniors, but one of my best friends said to me in the hospital, I was so tough, not even a stroke could take me out. I told him it wasn't easy to take me out. Death brushed me and I shoulder checked death back. Oh, I love that, senior spud. That is amazing. Listen, he shoulder checked it, baby. That's what I'm talking about now. That's how you take on life. Listen, and that right there goes to that in spite of. Yes, it tried. And guess what? I shoulder checked it, and in spite of what it thought it did, I came back and said, listen, I'm here, and I'm here to stay, and I'm going to figure out how to love and live my life the best way possible, in spite of the fact that you were just in the hospital, in spite of the fact that other people around you thought that was the end. Listen, you here.
I love that. I say my own brain tried to take me down. It literally blew up and for a week, and it didn't take me down. So I go, good luck stopping me, because I just keep going. So I love all of
so
these.
I do. Oh, so you did hit the base where I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm going back to comments, you guys, so we can make sure we're acknowledging everything you are saying.
I tried to get most of them with the phrases. That's why we talked about I'm going out of spite, and yeah, I think we're caught up on questions. Unless you guys have others. And you guys can always comment if you guys are catching the replay. We go back through the comments there. So, and topics you want us to discuss. Oh, thank you for saying that.
Oh, that's so nice. Again, we're not gonna. So we did. Okay, my brother got me a shirt that says. See, but this is what I'm talking about, Senior Spud. I won. That is the optimism. That's the in spite of. That is the understanding and surpassing the unknown. The stroke tried to take you out, but the unknown said, hey, I took it out. As you said, you struck death back and it tried to come to you. So the unknown, again, as we're speaking on both sides, the unknown for you, Senior Spud, with your family, your friends, not knowing how the outcome was going to be for you. The unknown they can see today is even, and I do remember you're still new in the phases of, you just recently had your stroke. So the unknown for you could be where you're going to be 6 months from now. But you have the positivity from this community saying, for myself and Tawnie, hey, we're here for you to help to support you through the unknown. So therefore, you don't struggle with the fact that we had of dealing or coping with the unknown, I would say, quote unquote, by ourselves, or the things that we had to just, we kept to, and I'm going to say, honestly, speaking for myself, the things I kept to myself because I was trying to figure out on my own before even embracing the community. So again, we're here to give you the best of figuring this out over the next 6 months, 6 years. So therefore, you don't have to go through all the trials and tribulations that we did. But that's the beauty of the unknown. So even though we're talking about the unknown, we don't know how to embrace it. But the beauty of the unknown is, listen, we don't know what's to bring. We don't know what is to bring, but I want us to all embrace a different thought process. We have to find a better faith to have. I'm going to always tell y'all, my faith was in God. As the doctor said, hey, you're paralyzed, you may not move, I laughed at him. That took me back. Not only did I laugh at him, but it took me back to understanding again why it's how Tawnie said in the beginning, we started off with this speed talk because I was the same as Tawnie. It was a point where I could not talk, or my speech was slurred, or I could not form or pronounce the words. I did not have an enunciation. Nothing came out. So when I was able to speak and grasp my voice and my language, baby, you couldn't shut me up. It was over with. It was over with. And I could think about it even before. I've always been pretty, because I actually had to look at videos. I always kind of talk pretty fast. And it's more of when I'm passionate about something, I kind of listen, I go in and there's no stopping me. The passion just comes out just ridiculously, I guess I would say. So I've always had that. Then post-stroke, I picked up this extreme passion and hit it with volume that somebody sped me up times 50. And that's what you got. So thank y'all for the patience of being with us through this process as we have learned to grasp the unknown of when Tracey and Tawnie was going to learn how to approach it in a different manner. So we truly appreciate everything. And so this is a process that for the survivors, new old, and for our caretakers trying to figure out, when is it going to be that they're going to change? When is it going to be that they're going to give me more, what's the word I'm looking? When are they going to give me more reaction to their body to understand that I can know that I'm helping them, that I'm loving them in a way we don't know? I'm 5 years post, and I have learned how to slow down my speech with, again, the help and support of caretakers and the kid, as Tawnie said. A caretaker is not necessarily someone in your household. Caretaker, again, could be people around you, people that love you and adore you and that give you positive feedback. And I had so many around me saying, girl, this, that. And it just took time to really sit in and say, boom, now this is how I can approach the situation. So it's an unknown situation, but with patience. That's why next week we're going to hone in on patience. But with patience, we can get there better, more positively. We can get there at the end of the day. So we have something to look forward with having a little patience. So again, we thank you, caretakers. We thank you to the stroke survivors for being so positive and even acknowledging what we're talking about, how we need to be. And it's what I'm about to say kind of sounds crazy. Be slow to speak, because we already are trying to get our pronunciation. So we don't want to be slow, but be slow to speak because of the simple fact, with our frustrations, we can spew out, and in turn, it can take our loved one or our caretaker to a different route that we don't want them to. So that's what I mean, to be slow to speak. Let's pay attention to the frustrations that we have, understanding that we're not the only one. The caretakers and loved ones have those same frustrations as well. And together, we will become the best team possible to go through this life of recovery and learning how to love in spite of where we are today and what we've been dealt with.
Beautifully put. I got nothing to add to that. That was perfect. And just like Senior said, just like the song, all we need is a little patience. I mean, and that's not just stroke survivors and caretaker. I think the whole world, if we all just a little bit more patience and kindness to yourself and to others, that's it.
Awesome. We love you guys. And
we will see you next week. We speak on patience of both ends.
See you guys next week.
Bye, guys.